Good morning, good people, brothers, sisters, and beautifully defiant siblings in the movement. Welcome to the unapologetic voice of labor, equity, and action. This is the CWA Hour Power Radio Show where we amplify the organizers, uplift the everyday workers, and honor the giants whose shoulders we stand on right here on KYOK 1140 AM and the all new 106.5 FM in the heart of Houston, Texas. If you're rolling through H Town or just fired up anywhere in the world, stream us live at kyokradio.org on the CWA Strong app or catch the replay anytime by searching CWA Hour of Power on your favorite podcast platform. Because this space, this time, it's about us. That's right, it's about us. We're talking union contracts, organizing victories, labor rights, human dignity, fair pay, and bold everyday resistance to injustice in every form. So whether you're on the job, in your car, at your kitchen table, or deep in the fight, lean in, honk your horns. If you stand with workers, throw a fist up if you know your worth. Joining me today are the fire starters and truth tellers, Mikeya Jones, Sir Reginald Small, Timmia Wiley, Tay Atkins, David Marshall. So buckle up, beloveds, because the power we build together, that power is ours. Let's get into it. Our union voices are ringing in every district from Alaska to Maine, Texas to Minnesota, Canada to Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico, because we don't play at CWA. Our union brothers, sisters, and siblings at the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette have been outside for 2 years striking on the picket lines. And yet while they're striking, they're still churning out the news with facts for you and me. Let's show our support to them by making sure we subscribe to their publication at unionprogress.com. Again, that's unionprogress.com. And once you subscribe to this free publication, how about going over and donating to their strike fund at cwa.org/PPG donate. Now, family, before we dive into today's labor, human rights, and civil rights conversations, we want you to grab your tea and let's sip a while because it's time for Tea with Tay. So today's flavor, grown folks tea. So sit back as Tay pours us a hot cup of coffee. A hot cup of grown folks tea. Good morning, Tay.
Good morning, Errol. Good morning, KYOK family, and good morning to my union family as well. Before I give you this strong brew of tea today, I first want to shout out Dennis Surratt Minority Leadership Institute. So I know you all talked about it last week. I just wanted to jump right into it. I've been so excited since I left the Minority Leadership Institute. It was an amazing experience. Not only the bonds that were created, but the instructors, Paul, Noel, and Robin. It was a life-changing experience. The activities, Timmia, Mikeya, I definitely want to shout you all out. You all did your work while you were there too. I seen y'all running around day in and day out. We all shed some tears together, some laughs, but I want you to know that it is a life-changing experience to attend Dennis Surratt Minority Leadership Institute, and I am forever grateful for that opportunity. For my siblings that I gained there, I know they'll be coming on the weeks later on. So I plan or I hope to have some good conversation with them. But I just wanted to shout out the Institute because thank you. And thank you everybody from CWA for putting the Dennis Surratt Minority Leadership Institute together. People like me and the people that I went with, we really needed it. So let's jump into this brew. So, in the old school family, or at least my family, Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner, there were two tables, the grown folks table and the kiddie table. Now, if you know, the grown folks table was where the talk got real. Politics, bill, love, loss, who's struggling, who's showing up. The kiddie table, that's where you were told, be seen and not heard. I know we've all heard that before. Stay in a child's place. You'd be sitting over there with your paper plate and your little juice cup while the adults made decisions. And that made sense when you were a kid. But some of y'all are grown now. And I mean grown, grown. And you're still sitting at the kiddies table. You've got thoughts, ideas, fire, truth bubbling inside of you, but you keep quiet. You sit in the rooms where you could shift the direction of the conversation, a workplace, a movement, but you don't speak because someone told you your voice is too much. Well, let me tell you something. If you're in a space where you can't open your mouth and share what's in your heart, you are not at the grown folks table. You're being managed and not respected. And I don't know about you, but I'm too grown to sit at the kiddie table. I got too much on my mind, too much to say, and too much purpose. And there's too much going on in the world for me to stay quiet just to keep the peace. Because silence doesn't keep peace. Silence keeps things the same. If you want change, you got to find your voice, even if it shakes the first time you use it. Speak up in the workplace, speak up in your community, speak up in your union meetings, because every movement that ever changed history started with somebody saying, this isn't right. Finding your voice means trusting that your experience has value, that your story has weight, that your presence has power. And once you start using that voice, oh, trust me, you'll see the tables turn, policies shift, and systems tremble because power listens when courage speaks. So ask yourself this question. Are you invited because you are strong or because they know you will stay silent? Because silence might get you a seat, but strength builds the table. And that's our strong brew for today. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it back over to you, Errol.
Thank you so much, Tay. Welcome back to the hot seat. Now, keep that grown folks flavor in your cup because coming up next, I want to spotlight John Boyega. John Boyega was born March 17, 1992 in London, England. His nationality is British Nigerian, and his story reminds us that courage doesn't require a title, it starts with conversation. Many first knew him as Finn in Star Wars, The Force Awakens, but in 2020, the world saw him a new role, not on screen, but standing boldly for justice. After the murder of George Floyd, Boyega took to the streets of London, standing before thousands at a Black Lives Matter rally. His voice trembled with emotion as he said, Black lives have always mattered. We have always been important. We have always meant something. That moment wasn't scripted. Wasn't rehearsed. It was real, and it showed the power of using your platform for truth, even if it comes at a personal cost. Boyega himself admitted he didn't know if he'd keep his career after speaking out, but he knew it was the right thing to do. He continued to advocate for systemic change in Hollywood, calling for fair representation, equity, and respect for Black creatives. What makes John Boyega so remarkable is that he turned his fame into a tool for activism, showing the world that anyone, no matter their job, status, or age, can make a difference. Boyega reminds us that standing up for human rights is about courage, not comfort. His voice, his honesty, and his willingness to risk everything for justice make him a symbol for this generation. So today we honor John Boyega, British Nigerian actor, activist, and truth teller. He proved that even a trembling voice can shake the world and that one person speaking out can inspire millions. You're listening to KYOK 1140 AM and the all-new 106.5 FM. If you're on the go, you can take us with you by visiting kyokradio.org and pressing the Listen Live option. Tune in live every Thursday at 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific on kyokradio.org, the CWA Strong app, or your preferred podcast player. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Music, iHeartRadio, Podchaser, Amazon Music. Search for CWA Hour of Power on your favorite podcast player. Like and follow us on the Facebook and Instagram at CWA National Human Rights to stay connected, share your thoughts, and join the conversation. Up next, we have Mikeya Jones with awareness for the month of October. Good morning, Mikeya.
Good morning, Aaron. Good morning, KYOK radio listeners. So today I'm going to talk to you all about SIDS, which is Sudden Infant Death Syndrome. October is SIDS Awareness Month, and I'm just going to get straight to it, because this is one of those topics that's hard to talk about. But it's one of the topics that we must talk about because awareness is save lives. And SIDS is, again, is the sudden and unexplained death of a baby under 1 year old, usually during sleep. And while we don't always know why it happens, we do know there are ways to reduce the risk. According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, about 3,400 babies die suddenly and unexpectedly each year in the United States. It's every parent's worst nightmare. But through education, safe sleep practices, and community support, we can help keep our little ones safe. So let's start with the basics, safe sleep practices that every parent, grandparent, and caregiver should know. Here are 5 key tips to remember. 1, back to sleep. Always place your baby on their back to sleep for every nap and every night. This one change alone has saved thousands of lives since the Back to Sleep campaign began in the 1990s. I do not care if you feel like your baby sleeps better on its side or on its stomach, put the baby on the back, okay? Second, firm, flat sleep surface. Use a firm mattress covered with a fitted sheet. No pillows, no bumper pads, no stuffed animals, no toys. It might look plain, but it's perfect for baby safety. 3, room share, don't bed share. Keep your baby sleep area in your room, but not in your bed. The safest spot is a crib, bassinet, or portable play yard right next to where you sleep. 4, keep it cool and smoke free. Make sure the room isn't too warm. Babies should be dressed lightly for sleep. And remember, no one should smoke near a baby ever. Secondhand smoke raises the risk of SIDS. And 5, offer a pacifier at nap time and at bedtime. Research shows that using a pacifier during sleep can reduce SIDS risk. Just don't force it if your baby doesn't want it, and never attach it with a clip or a string. And here's something else. Community matters. If you know a new parent, offer to help set up a safe sleep space. If you work in healthcare, childcare, or social services, help spread the word about safe sleep habits. Sometimes families face barriers, not enough money for a crib, or not knowing where to get one. That's where community programs step in. Organizations like Cribs for Kids and local health departments often provide free or low-cost cribs to families in need. No one should have to choose between safety and affordability. So SIDS Awareness Month isn't about fear. It's about empowerment through knowledge. Every parent deserves peace of mind, and every baby deserves the safest start possible. So this October, let's talk about it. Let's share resources. Let's check in with new parents and remind each other that safe sleep saves lives. I'm Mikeya with Our Power Radio, and if you'd like to learn more about SIDS prevention, you can visit NICHD's Safe to Sleep campaign at safetoSleep.nichd.nih.gov. Take care of your babies and take care of each other. Back to you, Earl.
You're listening to KYLK 1140 AM in the all-new 106.5 FM. If you're on the go, you can take us with you by visiting KYLKradio.org and pressing the Listen Live option. Tune in live every Thursday at 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific on KYLKradio.org, the CWA Strong app, or your preferred podcast player. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Music, iHeartRadio, Podchaser, Amazon Music. Search for CWA Hour of Power on your favorite podcast player. Like and follow us on Facebook and Instagram at CWA National Human Rights to stay connected. Share your thoughts and join the conversation. Up next, we have Timmia Wiley getting her feet wet with an interview. Good morning, Timmia.
Good morning, Errol. Good morning, KYOK listeners. You are tuned in, of course, to Our Power Radio, the voice of CWA members, building a better tomorrow through knowledge, unity, and action. I'm your host, as Errol said, Timmia Wiley, like the coyote. And today we're diving into a conversation that bridges technology, justice, and empowerment. We all know that navigating the legal system can be confusing, it can be costly, and very intimidating, especially for working families and communities who've been left out of the process. But our guests today are changing that story. Joining us are my niece and nephew, Danielle and David Bunker, the visionary founders of Hey Justice, a legal tech startup making legal aid simple, culturally fluent, and accessible to everyone. Recently, their innovation was recognized through a $2,500 award from the illustrious North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University.
Thank you, Brian.
helping them expand their reach and continue breaking barriers in the legal tech world. Danielle and David, I want to welcome you to Our Power Radio. We're so glad to have you all.
So glad to be here, man. Thank you for having us.
So glad to be here. We're very excited.
Absolutely. So, Danielle, you have a background in political science and community leadership. What inspired you to launch a legal tech company, and what challenges did you face taking it from concept to reality?
So, what inspired me to start a legal tech company is really noticing the gap between justice and accessibility. Many times in the legal court system, it's not the justice that you can have, but it's the justice that you can afford. And so, seeing that in real time, working for a law office for 2 years, I wanted to be a part of the solution instead of talking about the problem, which is why I decided to create Hey Justice, a legal advocate in your pocket. I would say one of the biggest challenges I faced was really getting it from an idea to execution, because it is such a great app to such like a big magnitude. That's something I struggled with for sure, and just managing the team. But it's really starting to take off in the best ways.
I would say so too. It's really taken off for you all. David, with your background in cybersecurity and IT, how did you help shape Hey Justice design so it's both secure and easy for everyday people to use?
Well, like you said, making it secure and easy for like everyday people to use. A lot of the legal system that we do see is a lot of complex, legal documents, a lot of complex, and people are scared and worried about, legalities because, they don't understand it. So what we did for the technology side is I kind of recruited, one of my classmates, one of our CTOs, Ian. He's one of our people that helps us with technology also, and also Corey too. So we also have a team kind of working in the back end, making sure everything's going good to make the design better and make it easy for everybody to understand and have just like access to justice.
And just a little background information for our listeners. David and Danielle are y'all even 20 yet? Y'all are in your early 20s?
I'm 22.
Yes, and I'm 20.
I'm just so proud of y'all. When you two teamed up, what was the vision that you shared? Was there a moment when you knew this isn't just an idea, but it could really change lives?
Well, for me, honestly, she brought the idea to me after she came from the NAACP conference. And I heard it and I was like, wow, this is a really good idea. But what really spoke to me is, it was a story. One of my friends, I was going to his party, but somebody else that came, they told me they got stopped by police and he pulled a gun on them. And he was in the middle of nowhere. He had nobody, no witness or anything. So he couldn't really do anything about the situation. It was like he was left in the dark. So that's when I said, dang, Hey Justice really could have helped him. And that was early in the beginning, like before anything hit the road. And that's when I said, you know what? Have to lock in, make sure we make this accessible to everybody. Because that real story just happened in the blink of an eye. So I think it was just like, God speaking to me and like us just to say, let's do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So many people can use this technology.
I'm going to
One
pop it
thing,
right here. Sorry, I had to point this out. He just said that she brought this idea to him after the NAACP conference. The NAACP conference was in July of this year. I just need to point that out, that they got all of this together after it's October. And they did all of this between July and October. So if anybody tell you can't do, I just have to say this. If anybody tell you can't do something, these two young people right here are doing it. Like, they had an idea, they found a way, and they got it done from July. And that was the summertime. They wasn't out here playing and at the beach. They were working and making progress. And I just needed to point that out, like July. Go ahead, Timmy. I'm sorry.
oh no, you're fine. One thing that stands out about Hey Justice is your focus on cultural fluency, making sure people can understand legal information, which I have trouble with, in ways that connect with their real life experiences. So the verbate legal documents into, it helps people with their real life experiences. How did you build that into the platform?
So we built that into the platform, like you said, by focusing on cultural fluency. So I noticed that legal documents, they're not translated in a way that people can understand. Oftentimes, legal documents are translated in a 12th grade level or above. However, when most Americans read on a 6th grade level. And so that's a huge problem that we want to solve. So we wanted to make sure that it was accessible for diverse communities, So that way, when you are on the Hey Justice app, it translates your legal documents into Spanish, Ebonics, also known as AVE, and Standard American English, so just regular English. So we're hitting all three communities at once and more. So that's really how we built that into the platform, is just thinking about community first and the need first.
And y'all also built in safety tools, features that can alert trusted contacts during high stakes encounters, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you explain how that works and why it's such an important part of the app, David?
Yeah, definitely. I can explain that. And basically, our safety feature is any unsafe situations, whether it's domestic, like police pulling over, or anything, any unsafe situation you encounter. What we're planning to do with Hey Justice is we're gonna have like a live stream like of your face that's gonna send the 2 to 3 emergency contacts that you do have. And because like a lot of people they get videos, but imagine you get pulled over, you get stopped, and they take your phone, you can't send the video out. So what we'll do is automatically when it stops recording, it'll automatically send a video so people will know your location, where you are, what happened, and they'll have a whole picture. So that's kind of how we like add the legal advocate in your pocket. So that's that legal advocate that you do have for a witness.
That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. For our CWA listeners, many of whom deal with workplace issues, housing rights, or navigating complex systems, how can Hey Justice be a tool that empowers them to better understand and protect their rights?
Right. Yes. With that and Hey Justice, like I was saying with the safety features, if you guys have anything going on at work where you guys need evidence, you need like that situation and solution, definitely what we feature. And also with the app, like the know your rights, kind of having those rights and kind of educating you before, like during or even after the situation.
Yes.
That's
And also as well, for many like civil cases, a lot of a lot of people cannot afford attorneys because it is expensive. So through our legal document translation, it'll literally take your document and translate it in a way that you understand. And oftentimes, as we know, in the legal court system, your court date's not going to be tomorrow or maybe even the next month. It'll be 3, 4 months from now. And so if you're a mom, a dad, sister, brother, you're busy, we all have lives. And so, Hey Justice, we're going to take that burden and responsibility off of you by tracking your court dates and sending you reminders in either Ebonics, Spanish, or Standard American English, which is protecting your rights. So that way you don't have order for arrest, fines, or miss your court date.
that is phenomenal. Y'all are doing the Lord's work here.
We're trying.
We're
We're
trying.
trying.
And again, I want to say congratulations on y'all receiving the award from A&T, from the illustrious North Carolina
Illustrious.
Agricultural and Technical State University. Can you tell us about what that recognition meant for you all and for Hey Justice on this stage of your journey?
Well, I'll say kind of for us, it was kind of like, wow, we have an idea that people actually like believe, bought into. It's not like just an idea that we, just thought of like of our heads that would work. It's like, wow, people need this. It's an actual need. We actually have like a backing. It felt amazing, honestly, to like get that first like seed of a little bit of funding.
Yes, it definitely was amazing. Like in the moment, I was like, this is so surreal. Like I cannot believe it because this is like something that you don't see typically happen is just getting so much support on the back end. So for A&T to support us and for us to get seed grant money to go towards our mission and towards the company is only going to help us better support our mission and our users. So I was like, this is surreal. And I was just happy for us to continue to get to work with that funding.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Every little bit helps, doesn't it?
Truly, every little bit.
So how do y'all plan on using that funding? Is it going to be like expanding outreach, building new features, or developing partnerships that help you reach more people?
I think a lot of it will probably be used to expanding that outreach. Right now, what we want to do is we want to make sure that our app, we're always updating. Because what matters most to our app is the people. The first come last and the last come first. So we're putting ourselves, last and making sure we go out to the community and find out what the issues are within the community, like what's going on, how we can really provide that aid and help. Also, some of it going to like developing the app and kind of like expanding our pilot program for like our witness.
Wow, great answer.
Yes, definitely. A lot of the funds will be making sure that our app is a seamless and reliable experience for our users, and also making sure that we're putting it towards marketing as well, because it's great to have an app, but if nobody knows about it, then our outreach can only go so far.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And hopefully word of mouth, that's like the biggest
Yes.
the biggest way that people get recognized. It'll catch on. But for other young innovators or social entrepreneurs listening, What advice would you offer about finding opportunities or funding sources that align with your mission and values?
Oh, well, sorry.
No, so I would definitely say for young innovators, for entrepreneurs, I would definitely say that everybody has a dream, but few people have execution. And so there's so many like great ideas out here that could create so much social impact, so much revenue, but it's all in the way that you execute. And so for any like young innovators and entrepreneurs, I would just say like it is for sure possible. I mean, Hey Justice is a living testament of that idea that we had in July. That's not just an idea; it's actually, you know, an execution of an idea right now. And so it just shows that if you execute properly on your ideas and you build a team, because there's a saying that says, if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together. So if you build a team, then you're truly able to go far.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like you said, execution, 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 and make
Absolutely.
sure you build your team, and your network of people who believe in you. So I have another question. What was the experience like when you all won? What was it? What kind of responses did you receive from the university when you won that award at at the illustrious North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University?
Yeah, so what we did, it was really nice. We had like a lot of good responses. We had our wait list, like QR code on there. A lot of people were scanning that QR code, and it was like amazing. We had a lot of people coming up to us like, "Wow, this is amazing. I want to see what happens next. I want to see it come and develop. I want to see the app. I want to see this." So it was like a lot of positive responses that we did get from like the university and students too. So it was glad. It was
That's
definitely just
good.
glad.
That's amazing.
Yeah, no,
Um,
it was truly surreal. Like I'm a political science student, so my dean in the College of History and Political Science, they were rooting for us. They were super proud. My dean actually went and sent it to the provost, and is just sending it up the ranks at A&T as well. So they're super proud, and they're hoping to continue to support us on the back end because they believe in it, and we believe in it too. So it was just honestly like surreal.
you have a lot of people believing in you all in the program.
Hey,
So,
Timmia and
uh-huh.
Danielle and David, can we break in right here? Somebody has their hand up to ask a bunch of questions this morning.
Okay.
So I believe we better yield to her before she mutes all of us.
Don't do that. It was don't do that. It's an amazing interview. I'm just so excited. So I just, I want to know, like, is the app available for the public now?
Right now, the app is not available to the public right now. Right, we're in like the early process of building, getting that like first beta testing. Because right
Hmm.
now, when it comes to like legal, like access and documents, we want to make sure it's 100% secure and safe. We don't want no issues on the back end. We don't want nothing getting leaked. We want to make sure everything is right for you guys. So right now, we're in like early development, but we do have a wait list that people can sign up for and wait, and also an email list, like a newsletter coming out. So we'll always keep you in the know and let you know what's going on.
Yes, and you can receive all that information on updates on Hey Justice, what we're doing, through our Instagram, which is Hey Justice app.
Hey Justice, APP, is that what they look for?
Yes,
Yes.
Hey Justice
Okay.
app, all one word.
And then
Okay.
how do we get a copy of that QR code? Because I know as a human rights activist, we deal a lot with different things like immigration and all that kinds of stuff. So how do we? You guys say you have a QR code that we can sign up, right? Can you send that to me so that we can share that on our platforms as well, just so that again, like you said, word of mouth gets you out there, and we want to support you all. Not only do you want to support two young Black entrepreneurs. We want to support the cause because it's what's needed, especially right now with all the things that's going on in our social political climate. So is there a way, or how can we and the listeners, and to me, I definitely don't want to steal your thunder or your questions here
Oh
because
no,
I'm
you're
just super
fine. You're
excited.
fine. You're asking the same questions I was getting ready to get to. So keep it going, honey.
How do we get this information to support you and broaden your reach?
Okay. Yeah, definitely. We could send you the QR code, but we also do have a website kind of like highlighting what we do, what we're about. I'm at like Hey Justice, like at github.io. Well, there's also in like the link for like our Instagram. So like once you click on the Instagram, the link is right there,
In the bio.
right in the
Yes.
bio. So you click it, you can sign up for the wait list. And then also what we can do for you, we can also send you a QR code, personal QR codes. Ain't
Yes.
nothing but a thing to do.
No, for real. And the
Okay. And
best
then
way as of right now is just follow us on Instagram. That's where we're actually updating almost 3 times a week. We're posting on Instagram. If you want to know more, the link to our website is it's in the bio, but we will also, like David was saying, we'll also send you a QR code in the chat as well, so you can broadcast it.
Okay, I just want to say again, I'm so excited for you both, and I'm so proud of you. I just had to ask those questions, and I'll mute myself again, but I just really needed to know because I'm one of those nosy people that want to know, like, okay, how do I get one, and where do I get it? And I want to be like, I want to make sure that you guys are supported. So that was all my questions for now.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Well, with that, David and Danielle, we want to thank you all so very much for joining us today. We hope that you all would keep us in the loop because we are your proud aunties and uncles here as to what's going on. Your work with Hey Justice is just a very powerful example of how innovation can make justice more accessible for everyone, no matter their background, income, or community.
Oh, yeah, we're glad to be here too. We'll definitely keep you guys in the loop. That CWA family strong. I know you guys have been working on the forefront, going to Washington, D.C., doing the rallies. Like, I'm very familiar, and I'm definitely loving like everything I see. We'll definitely keep you guys in the loop.
Yes. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Like, this has been amazing.
You are welcome. This has been Our Power Radio, where we amplify voices that move justice forward. I'm Timmia Wiley, like the coyote, reminding you to stay informed, stay connected, and keep using your power to make change. Until next time, take care and keep building the world we all deserve. Back to you, Errol.
Thank you so much. Listen, I'm going to go back and say this. Wait, Danielle and David, before you guys go, because I was criticized last week about bringing up a subject matter that someone needed a lawyer or was turned down because they used Ebonics back in 2015 when the young man said, just give me a lawyer, dog, because this is not what's up. And that was out of Louisiana. And I'm sure he would utilize Hey Justice when he was confronted if it was around. So you guys keep up the good work and get that developed where many people across the nation can have access to legal documents. Thank you guys so much for taking time out of your schedule to be with us today. And we want to thank Timmia for bringing you guys in as well. You guys have a wonderful day.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right.
You're listening to KYOK 1140 AM and the all-new 106.5 FM. If you're on the go, you can take us with you by visiting kyokradio.org and pressing the Listen Live option. Tune in live every Thursday at 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific on kyokradio.org, the CWA Strong app, or your preferred podcast player, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Music, iHeartRadio, Podchaser. Search for CWA Our Power on your favorite podcast player. Like and follow us on Facebook and Instagram at CWA National Human Rights to stay connected, share your thoughts, and join the conversation. It's now time for that normalized systems and hidden chains.
Welcome back, everybody. You're listening to me. Today we're going to talk about normalized systems, hidden chains. And this is a segment where we unpack the everyday systems that shape our lives, divide our communities, and keep working people fighting uphill battles. So I'm one of the co-hosts and the EP, Mikeya Jones. And today we're in this conversation. I'm going to be joined by Errol, Timmia, Tay, and David Marshall. Reginald is not here with us. We miss him today, but he's at our CWA District 4 conference. So he's doing great work there. So we're just going to have the conversation without him today, but I'm pretty sure he'll have something to say when he gets back next week. So first, Errol, what are your thoughts?
Well, the more I reflect on societal structures, the more I recognize how many of the systems we often overlook are intentionally designed to elevate certain groups while repressing others. And one significant system that exemplifies this dynamic is that old credit system. Those three little numbers that make up your credit score can have a profound impact on your life, influencing not only whether you can secure a car loan, a mortgage, but also whether you are deemed a suitable candidate for certain jobs. And this numerical representation of your financial history reflects deeper issues of inequality and access, highlighting how the rules of the game are not the same for everyone. Understanding this intricacy is vital as we navigate our economic landscape.
Yeah, that's right. Credit scores have become the invisible gatekeepers of opportunity. And like we always say on this show, when a system looks neutral, that's when it's doing its best work hiding biases.
So let's start with how we got here. Before the 1970s, there wasn't even such a thing as standardized credit scores. Lending decisions were made locally, often face to face. And guess what? They left plenty of room for discrimination. Banks,
Exactly. You know, because banks they literally had lists, coded maps marking which neighborhoods were safe and which weren't. And that's redlining. And those
Mm-hmm.
red lines are drawn around Black, brown, and working class neighborhoods. I can say even today, right now, I just moved
mhm.
into a new apartment in March or May, and I had to have my credit run to get an apartment. So if you want a place to live, sometimes you have to make sure that you have a certain credit score.
And I, and let's include in
Can I
it while
just say,
you're looking for that apartment. If another adult was in that apartment, their credit scores would have to be run as well.
can I
Right.
just
And
say that that is just, and I'm not, you know me, I like to say bad words, and I'm not gonna say it, but that's terrible.
mm-hmm.
That is some, you know what there.
And then on top of all of that come the credit bureaus and computer scoring in the 1980s because before the 1980s there wasn't anything like that, and the promise was when this came along was we'll make lending fair. There we go again, by using data instead of prejudice. But what happened? The bias just went digital.
Well, that's the thing, Errol. The data that they use it reflects the inequality that's already baked into our society. So that if you had like lower income or higher rampant access to credit, your score automatically starts off lower.
Right. Let me say something about that before Tay jumps in because I see her. But let me say something about that. That was when I first became an adult, right? I didn't have obviously a credit history. I never had any like bills in my name. I never had to pay any bills growing up, like any of those things. So when they told me like you have to get more credit history before you can apply for like certain things, like even like, you know, sometimes they look at your credit history for like just getting a cell phone. And it's like I don't have anything to prove to you because I was a kid and now I'm an adult and you're telling me that I'm already starting behind
Right,
the barrier.
right.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
I'm sorry. and
No,
and don't have someone to open a cable bill.
In your name. Hello. Because my
All
mom
right,
didn't do that. You know, I know
I'm
a lot of
sorry. Go
people who
ahead, Tay.
did that back in the day.
So
but
that
no, you know what? I'm sorry, y'all, but it's the same thing as when you go to school and you know they tell you to get a college degree so you can be somebody in life, what have you. Yeah, 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 yeah. But you get the degree and they want any job that's hiring wants you to have 4 to 5 years of experience. Please make that make sense.
so so it's like you're saying. So the system rewards people who already have stability and punishes those who've struggled. Like you said, that cable bill in somebody's name. It's a modern caste system built on math.
Right. And the thing is, it doesn't even have to be somebody that struggled. It's just somebody that's not even in what they consider a normal situation. And we already know what I'm trying to say. But let's connect this to labor. Today, employers in many states can check your credit as part of a job background screening. Think about that. You need a good job to pay your bills, but you can't get the job because of the bills you already have or have had in the past.
Mhm.
You are correct, because when I came on, they ran our credit, and on top of that, they did background checks. And we also had to pass the test to get on to Bell South at that time. And Mikeya, to pick up where you were talking about, that's what we really consider a poverty loop. It keeps people working just to survive and not to advance. And it hits working class families, single mothers, and communities of color the hardest, because these are the ones that are not privileged, now not walking in privilege.
And when you dig deeper, you find that it's not just about the numbers, right? It's about trust. Credit scores measure how much the system trusts you, but it never, hear me out here, it never measures how much you should trust the system. Like, how do you say that I need to have like a certain amount of like collateral or a certain amount of things in order to qualify for another thing? Like, I can qualify to pay $1,500 in rent, but I don't qualify to pay $1,000 a month in mortgage because of a credit score. That doesn't make sense to me.
That is absolutely asinine the way the system is set up. But I'm a David. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. I was just going to say, Mikeya, I could not agree with you any more.
Don't start.
Anymore. Because if you've ever watched corporations get bailed out, the CEOs, they walk away with bonuses after bankruptcies. And, billionaires can default on taxes. And you realize that the system, the idea of trustworthiness has nothing to do with fairness.
Exactly. Credit system isn't designed to measure morality. It's designed to measure profitability and its algorithmic reflections on who's worth investing in.
So let's bring this down to a personal level. Think about a young worker just starting out. No credit, no cosigner, no family wealth. That person pays more for everything. Higher interest rates, higher deposits, higher insurance. And when I say higher deposits and we say higher everything, I mean that. Like, if you, in some places, if you don't have a certain credit score, I just want to be real with you all. You have to put down a deposit just to have the utilities turned on in your home. If you have a higher credit score, then you know that your car payment is going to be more. That means that your insurance payment might be more. It means that people don't trust you based on something that you did not have. That's what society is saying to us. Because you did not have these privileges, we do not trust you with basically what I consider as just basic necessities in this first world country we live in.
And if you miss one payment, that penalty stays on your record longer than some criminal offenses. Meanwhile, companies like Equifax make billions selling our data and yet face no consequences when they mess up. And
right, because that little $20 was crazy after that breach.
You hear me? And all of the paperwork.
Right.
Well, you remember that massive data breach a few years ago. Millions of people had their personal information leaked, but instead of being punished, they just kept it moving. They kept operating like nothing ever happened. Let you or I do that. Let you or I do that. There's consequences, but when they do it, it's a golden parachute.
They gave us $20 and credit, what was it, credit protection or anti-fraud protection. And it's like, you're going to give me anti-fraud protection after you gave the frauds my
That was nuts.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Right.
And they profit off of our hardship. People with bad credit are targeted with predatory loans, rent-to-own schemes, payday lenders, and subprime everything. It's legalized economic profiling. And the
You said
rent-to-own
it.
schemes, they affect Black women the most.
And we've been conditioned to think that bad credit means bad choices, but often it means bad options. When your car breaks down and you can't just not fix it, when rent's due, you can't just wait until the next month. Life isn't graded on a 700-point credit scale.
You're right about that.
And that's the manipulation piece, right? The credit industry tells us to build good credit as if financial respectability will protect us from systemic inequality, right? But we all know that that's a myth. How do you build good credit when you already, again, you start behind? It's not like, okay, once you're born, you start with whatever amount, and then as you go on, you accumulate things. No, they just up and decide whenever you apply that this is, whatever the algorithm tells them, this is what it's going to base you on. And that's insane to me.
It's just the illusion of control. If you just play by the rules, you'll be fine. But the rules themselves are rigged. When medical debt or job loss hits, the same system that said trust us turns it back.
Well, and the thing is, the language that they use is it's genius. They call it a score like it's a game or something. Like you can just, level up if you work harder. But, we've all played video games before. If you start with 10 lives and I start with 2, I have to go back to the beginning and start over. So, that makes, the system makes people blame themselves instead of questioning the system as a whole.
Exactly. It's social conditioning. The same way we were taught to see wages, healthcare, and housing as individual responsibility is economic gaslighting at its finest.
And it keeps us divided. We start measuring each other's worth, not by character, not by community, but by a number that was never meant to define our humanity in the first place.
And you know what really gets me? I just have to say this. What really gets me is once you finally get there, right? You get your score up, you get you a good credit card, because now you need a card to keep building your credit in order to get the house or in order to get the car or whatever it is that you're reaching for. And then if you pay your credit card bill off, they lower your score, and I was just outdone at that
Isn't
point.
that insane? Pay your car off and
Or
see
you
what
pay a
happens to your
car off,
score.
yes, and it drops 30
Yes.
points.
Yeah, that is insane.
So I have to make sure that I'm reliable and trustworthy, and I can be trusted with these funds that you're technically loaning me with interest. But then when I pay you back with your interest, you still ding me? Okay.
Make that
So
make sense.
how do we push back? First, we have to start by understanding that economic justice is labor justice. Unions fighting for living wages, paid time off, healthcare, and all things that keep people from falling into debt and financial ruin in the first place. That's
Right.
our first step.
Right. And then we can advocate for laws that limit how credit scores are used in hiring, insurance. And that's one of the things right there. Every state has mandatory car insurance. And if you got to have, you just got to have it. But why I got to pay astronomical price for everybody? Let me leave that alone. Because your access to opportunity shouldn't depend on a number that measures your access to privilege.
That's right, Earl. And financial education is another key piece, but not the how to get a credit card kind. We need the education that explains how the system works against us so that we can properly navigate it, and eventually reform it to where it works for all of us.
And solidarity, it matters too. When workers organize, they gain leverage to demand fair pay and benefits that help them stay stable without depending on credit to survive.
Exactly. The ultimate goal isn't just to improve credit score, it's to build a society where people don't need credit to prove they're worthy of opportunity.
Right. So we're just gonna wrap this up with this. Credit scores were sold to us as fairness,
Mm-hmm.
just like tipping, just
Mm.
like other things that we've been talking about in these segments, just like the bar exam. And what they really measure is access, not character, not merit, not humanity, not compassion. They're the quiet gatekeepers of the modern economy, and things like this need to stop, and we need to stop perpetuating them as things that are good.
And like every system we've talked about, they're not inevitable. They were built, and what's built can be rebuilt.
Yes, and we must continue to name these systems for what they are. They are tools of division so that we can transform them into tools of empowerment.
Because when we stop accepting the rules as normal, we start rewriting them.
And that's our power: collective awareness, collective action, and collective liberation.
So you've been listening to Normalized Systems Hidden Change on CWA, our radio show, where we uncover the systems that divide us and remind each other of the power we already have, that collective power. Next week, episode 4, we're going to talk about voter registration, access or obstacle, as well as microaggressions. And it explores how voter registration laws and ID systems have historically limited participation, and how labor can help reclaim democratic power, and how microaggressions are major aggressions. So until next time, question everything that's been normalized and keep building the world that we deserve. You're listening to KYOK 1140 AM and the all-new 106.5 FM. If you're on the go, you can take us with you by visiting kyokradio.org and pressing the Listen Live option. Tune in live every Thursday at 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific on kyokradio.org, the CWA Strong app, or your preferred podcast player. And next up is my bestie that might be messy sometimes, Mr. David Marshall. How are you doing today, David?
Hey, how's it going? I thought I already tried to, steer us back to being friendlier segment. So, but I think it was a healthy debate. So I'm looking forward to another healthy one today.
Good, go for it.
All right. Let's see. Uh, let's look at, one of the things that troubles me most about where we are as a nation isn't just our political divide, it's our informational divide. Once upon a time, truth was something that was sacred. We didn't have to agree on every issue, but we agreed that facts were facts. But now it feels like truth has become a matter of opinion, and that's dangerous territory. So today, my hard question for today is I want to ask every listener and let this sit for a moment. When did truth become negotiable? We live in a time when people can scroll through their phones and find an entire world that agrees with them, no matter how wrong, how biased, or how distorted the world may be. Social algorithms feed us only what we already believe. Cable news outlets cater to what we want to hear. And when facts make us uncomfortable, we just simply change the channel. That's not information, that's indoctrination. And so, Mikeya, I want to bring you in here and get your thoughts. You work with young folks and community members who are constantly online. How do you see these echo chambers affecting how people think and even how they treat one another?
That's such a great question. And what I'm seeing, especially among younger people, is that they don't know what to believe anymore. There's so much noise that the truth most of the time gets lost. And when everyone's living in their own bubble and in their own silos, even simple conversations can turn into arguments or major disagreements. And it's like people are afraid to say, I don't know, or people are afraid to fact check. And instead, they double down on what their feed tells them, even when it doesn't make sense. And we've lost curiosity. And when curiosity dies, understanding dies behind it. And we've also lost integrity. There used to be integrity in the news, where what was said in one room was the same thing that was said in the next room, was the same thing that was said in the next room, right? People were who they were in all rooms when it came to news. That was the one thing that we had that was supposed to be based on fact and was supposed to be non-biased. And now what they do, and you know what they like to call it, quote, alternative facts, end quote, and they manipulate the facts. So they'll give you a snippet, or they won't give you the full quote, or they won't give you the full video, or they won't give you the full context of whatever the statements or the actions or whatever the clip is supposed to be. And therefore that skews your judgment and or your belief on what was just shown or said to you.
I couldn't agree with you anymore. The used to, you were able to cut on the news and it didn't matter which three news stations it was, the news was consistently the same. Now we have opinion news. So it's really entertainment. It's not really news. So, but like you said, curiosity is the heartbeat of democracy. And when we stop asking questions and when we stop seeking facts, when we stop caring whether something is true or false, that's when democracy starts to suffocate. And here's what's tragic. The same tools that were meant to connect us, the internet, social media, instant news, they've also become the tools that divide us. Foreign actors exploit it. Corporations profit from it. And we, the people, we're left trying to figure out what's real and what's noise. The same divisions that break friendships is now breaking the country. And in some cases, it's breaking the unions. We have fracturing in unions of, in our own union families on the facts and on the state of where we are as a union. Because when our members can't agree on what's real, solidarity becomes harder to build. So how do we fix this? How do we pull ourselves out of these echo chambers and keep shouting keep us shouting instead of listening? Well, the solution starts with 3 simple but powerful steps. First thing is practice media literacy. Don't just read the headlines, read sources. Ask who's behind this story, what's their motive, because truth doesn't fear scrutiny. Lies depend on you not checking. Second thing is stay curious. Replace I already know with I want to understand. And when we approach others with curiosity instead of judgment, we open doors that division tries to close. And third, think critically, even when it's uncomfortable. Growth doesn't come from comfort. It comes from wrestling with information, confronting biases, and seeking clarity over confirmation. We can't build solidarity on falsehoods. We can't fight for justice if we're fighting over facts. If we truly want to rebuild America's unity, we have to rebuild our respect for the truth. So I'm going to leave you with this. Family, this has been the Union Dialogue conversations that build us, and I hope today's conversation reminds you that truth isn't partisan and it isn't optional. Next week, we'll tackle another big question, episode 3, America We versus the America Me, and we'll look at the rise of individualism, selfishness politics, and the erosion of community spirit. And until then, keep questioning, keep learning, and keep building, because an informed people is a powerful people, and solidarity forever. Thank you, Brother Errol. Mikeya, back to you.
Time out really quick. I do want to say this. A huge, huge, huge thing that I'm so grateful for within our union, because we just talked about it, and divisiveness, is the way that we try our best in all aspects of the triangle that we have here at CWA to educate our members and to bring them unbiased facts. We run a bipartisan union where we support people who support labor. So we always give them the truth. So it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're sitting on or what what we go based off of who's helping working people, and that's who we support, and that's who we expect to support us, and we do our best to hold them accountable. So if you're listening, please, please, please educate yourself. If you need to be educated on something, you can go to our cwa-union.org website, and we have tons of facts there, whether it's on politics, human rights issues, whatever matters to you. We do our best here at our union to keep our members and our folks educated. So the information is out there. Facts are being checked, and we are providing that kind of information to you all. So again, the cwa-union.org if you want to go to our website and find out anything that you need to know about us and how we try to keep our members educated and trained on what's going to affect them. Back to you.
That is a whole lot of truth there. And we as union stewards need to make sure we keep the facts and keep everything factual and truthful, because that's the way we educate our members on how these different policies affect them.
All right. Thank you guys so much. You can catch CWA Hour Power Radio every week right here on KWALK 1140 AM and the all new 106.5 FM. An hour is not long enough to be with you, and a week is too long to be away from you. You have been tuned into the CWA Human Rights Hour Power broadcast. I hope something you heard today has inspired you to take action toward creating positive change in the world. Every person has the power to make a difference, no matter how small, and by working together, we can create a world where human rights are respected and valued. So I encourage each of you in the listening audience to reflect on your role in promoting human rights to affect change in your communities and beyond. Know that you are not alone in your quest for a more just and equitable world. When faced with injustice, it can easily be to lose hope and give up. But remember, justice may be slow like the truth, but when it finally comes, it will stand. Until next Thursday, 10 a.m. Central, right here on KYOK 1140 a.m. and the all-new 106.5 FM, KYOKradio.org. See you next week.